We'll go to the phone lines. We're joined by Charlotte Independent head coach Mike Jeffries. Mike, how are you doing tonight?
Doing fine, thanks.
Oh, thank you for joining us. First question, we'll start off with United Soccer League has added an expansion team here to Charlotte. Just give us some ideas of what the challenges have been like for you being a new head coach to a brand new team to a city that's never had a pro team.
There have been many, many challenges for sure. It's been an exciting couple of months since I came on board. Just even simple things like finding a training facility and making sure it's a place that is a good home and a place where guys want to come in and work and train and play well has been things like that have been a challenge. Obviously, the number one is putting together the team and the roster, and that's been sort of a constant work in progress. But it's always difficult when you're an expansion franchise and you're having to kind of pull players in from different places and so forth. So it's been exciting. I think we've had setting a stadium, a place to play, getting all of that organized, and then even just getting the word out and the fact that we exist. That it's a really good. It'll be a fun event to be in or to come to. The soccer will be exciting. It'll be played at a high pace. It'll be with guys that have been or will in the future be in MLS or in higher leagues. So there's certainly a lot to look forward to. But it has, as you mentioned, it's been a busy couple months.
You mentioned getting the word out, and one thing I saw, and you mentioned being fun league. I've been watching some stuff on social media with the Independents, and I saw a thing you guys were doing, I guess, a couple weeks ago. You were doing like, come out here and we'll buy you a beer based on if you get the tickets or whatever. Which is it's interesting because soccer seems like that only sport where you can do that.
It is. Soccer and beer are somehow associated quite well with each other. I think it's maybe it's a little bit the European tradition. I know it's something that fans are really, really passionate about the game and about the sport. For those that haven't been to games, it's a lot of fun in that they're constantly singing, chanting both positive things for their own side, sort of regular chants that that they feel good about, and also every once in a while maybe something that's creatively negative towards the other side. And I think that participation makes it a little bit different from what's the maybe more traditional sports in this country. And somehow every once in a while a beer goes hand in hand with all that stuff, I guess. So.
Cool. Well, Mike, tell us a little bit how are you about going filling this team? Are you guys holding open tryouts? Are you going out and scouting people? Any local talent that looks pretty good?
Yeah, a little bit of all of that. We did hold open tryouts a couple of weeks back, and open tryouts are a fairly difficult way to build a team. Most of the players that we are looking at are guys that have had some professional experience, or they're sort of top college guys that have been in the draft pool, with Major League Soccer teams and so forth. So the open tryouts doesn't always get that caliber of player. So we've done a lot of scouting of players, not only locally, but also throughout the country, and even internationally. So we'll have a couple of guys that'll come in that are more international type players. So it's soccer is a big world in terms of the number of players that are playing throughout the world, and the number of professional leagues and teams is astounding throughout the world. So there's trying to find the best ones, and obviously the best ones that fit into our team and our system and our salaries and so forth. It's almost an open-ended question with so many places to try and look and to scout and try and find out where the best guys are.
The Charlotte Independents are an affiliate of the Colorado Rapids, and I know how affiliates work. Usually a player gets sent down to rehab or just to come practice, get more playing time. A guy from Charlotte who plays for the Rapids, goalkeeper, is Clint Irwin. Has he been involved at all with this team or been around the team at all yet?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was actually out with the Rapids, and we have a good rapport with them. And maybe I'll give you a quick rundown on the scenario in a sec, because it's a little different, but not much than what you described. But Clint is doing very well with the Rapids, so which is great for him, obviously. He was when I was out there, it was good talking to him. He was kind of a big fan, and wanted to know what was going on and everything. Even I think mentioned his brother was really excited about it, and so on and so forth, which is great. Unfortunately, I think he's done well enough that we most likely won't be seeing him on loan. But the way it works for us is the Rapids will loan us really 4 players for the year. So rather than being kind of players moving up and down constantly, or being here for a week or 2 weeks, or when they're coming off of injury, we'll end up with a group of players that will be here and will develop over the year. So it's maybe a little bit more like a little closer to a minor league affiliate, AAA baseball team, in which you loan the guys down for the year, and then obviously if they've done really well, they get pulled up at some point.
Okay. The one thing that's always talked about in sports is like how long a work week is. Obviously in modern day people, they work 50-hour, 60-hour work weeks, but they always give flack to coaches and athletes because you got this lifestyle where, I would do this to be an athlete or play a sport, to coach a sport. How many hours a week do you actually work though, going into being a coach of a team? I can imagine it's probably an all day event.
Here's the answer as my wife puts it. All right, she basically describes my job as playing outside and watching TV all day. Which is, more or less I just watch video on players, watch video on our team, how we've done, analyze that, and then go outside and train the team. And training is really a couple of hours. So the ideal world is to be the player, by the way. Unfortunately for coaching, it does involve a little bit more than that in terms of both planning, training, following up on training, evaluating your team, evaluating opponents, and at this time of the year, scouting. So the last couple of months, I would be happy if the work week were only 50 hours. But I think once the season settles down, then it's a little bit more of a normal work week, and we get to it. But the thing that's important in all of it is everything's organized, everything's planned. And look, as a coach, you try and have all the details taken care of so that everything proceeds seamlessly with the players. And as anybody that's been in professional sports knows, there's just a lot of details, a lot of things that you want to do, a lot of things that you want to go over with each player or with the group as a whole. And you have to have all of that organized ahead of time. So still the ideal world is to be the player. But even there, those guys, have a good concentration and, between taking care of themselves on and off field, and also watching how they are playing and what they're doing on the field. It's gotten to be a little more than just the old days of 2 hours and head to the bar.
Well, Mike, you've obviously had some experience scouting and looking at players. You were a scout for the 2010 U.S. national team, right?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, working with a team. That was a year I think that they did very well. It kind of sparked this country a little bit, kind of kicked them in the butt about, hey, soccer's pretty cool. So, I mean, obviously that was Donovan's last World Cup and all that, but
yeah, disappointed for Landon. He's a great guy, and it was fun with him there. For me, that scouting trip was really exciting. I did stay with the team and so forth, but I actually was sort of the advanced scout on teams that we were playing, so I got to travel throughout South Africa and watch games of teams that we were either going to play next or might play next, depending on results. So it was very exciting time. A little different, unfortunately, than scouting for when you're looking for players. You're just looking for different things. That was more a team evaluation. So and I was disappointed for Landon that he wasn't involved in the past World Cup.
Before we get you out of here, we ask all our guests for this. It's the last call. It's a shout out to something in sports. So what would your last call be tonight?
Look, I got to go away from sports if that's all right with you guys.
That works for us.
So I grew up in a little bit, and I'm not a huge fan, but I grew up in the Star Trek era. So I would have a shout out to Leonard Nimoy, and Star Trek, because I did every once in a while pick up that show when I was younger, and it's a respectful shout out to him. So may you live long and prosper, and all the best to Leonard Nimoy.
Good stuff, Coach Mike Jeffries. I ask all the guests this too, athletes wise or coaches. If you played FIFA and they ever put you in the game, would you play as yourself? If you were a player or coach, would you make sure that you played as yourself?
Fortunately, I don't play FIFA, so I leave that to the rest of the guys and my kids. So no, I wouldn't play as myself because I have no right foot whatsoever, so I'd be a disaster. So there's no chance I'd use myself.
Coach, thanks for joining us tonight. Good luck with the season. You guys open the season on, I believe, March 27th. Is that correct?
That is correct. March 27th against the team that will likely be our big rival, the Charleston Battery.
Awesome. Good stuff. Hopefully we can catch you on the show again. All right, buddy?
All right. Look forward to it.
Thanks
for having me.